Just because you launch a YouTube ad campaign doesn't mean it's going to work. In fact, I would say maybe 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10 of the campaigns we create actually work right off the bat. In most cases, there are certain levers that you can pull, that you need to pull, in order to lower your advertising cost and increase performance. These are levers that you can pull to increase your clicks, increase your lead conversion rates, and get more people watching your videos. In this video, I break down some of those levers that you can use to optimize your campaigns so you get better performance. One of my favorite quotes is by John Wanamaker. He was a marketing pioneer back in the early 1900s, and he said, "Half the money I spend on advertising is wasted." The trouble is, I don't know which half. Now, this may have been the case for John and anyone who's played around with the radio and television advertising, but it's not the case with Google and YouTube, right? You can know exactly if it's working or not. And if it's not working, there are certain levers that you can pull to improve performance. So I think of any campaign like a leaky bucket, right? The water in this analogy is the ad spend. The bucket is the actual campaign you're building out. Now, what causes these holes in these buckets? Well, it could be your video. It could be your sales funnel. Maybe it's the wrong audience, or maybe it's the wrong campaign structure, right? These are all holes that are in your campaign that need to be found and plugged up. So when we did this, we worked with a client who was spending hundreds of thousands of dollars a month on YouTube. And he came to us and was like, "Hey, I know these ads are working because I'm getting sales, but I have a feeling that if you guys could go in there and help me do some digging, you could help me make more money and save more money, because I don't think I'm being very efficient with my ad spend." And sure enough, we got access to his ad account, and they didn't have any conversion tracking set up. So they weren't able to track if people are purchasing or not. Not only that, but they had all these campaigns that were running with all these videos, and they weren't able to know which videos the buyers were coming from. So the first thing we did with them is we set up proper tracking. Like, hey, we need to know where these customers are coming from. So we set up the tracking, and then we created very specific campaign structures where we put specific videos and specific campaigns with specific audiences. And this allowed us to know which audiences were we wasting ad spend on and which audiences were people buying from. Same thing with the videos. Which videos weren't performing well and which videos did we need to spend more because we were getting a huge return. And after a couple months of working with them, we were able, like, again, we doubled their sales and we cut their ad spend in half because we knew where to spend money and we knew where to pull money from. So it is really important to have your tracking set up and having your campaigns properly structured. This is a part of the presentation where we go to the other side of the brain. To be a great marketer requires that you use both sides of the brain. We've been talking a lot about the creativity side, and now I want to jump the guns and talk about the analytical side. This is the numbers side, because you need to use both sides of the brain in marketing these days. If you look at this table, this is an actual campaign inside Google Ads. And when you launch a campaign, you can see that there's different ad groups or different audiences. And in this specific instance, our client wanted to get a $10 cost per lead. She was running people to a webinar, and she's like, "I want to get a $10 webinar registration." And so we tested different videos, we were testing different audiences, and you can see where these conversions were coming from, where these registrations were coming from. So we got all these different audiences. Some of them are outperforming the others. So what we do when you launch a campaign is you want to look for the outliers, okay? So if I look right here, these two audiences, we're getting like a $19 cost per lead, a $20 cost per lead, which is a lot higher than a $10 cost per lead. So we found those and we paused them. From there, we asked which audiences are working, and we found these ones. I mean, a $10 cost per lead, which is right around the goal. We even found one that was getting a $5 cost per lead, $7 cost per lead, $8 cost per lead. So we're gonna take those and we're gonna amplify them because those are the winners. And then we find these other ones, these yellow ones, and this is like, one's $12, one is $13. It's a little bit too expensive. And what we can do with those ones is we can optimize them. We can switch up the headline, maybe the bid type, but we can do some work on them and we can fix them. So when you launch a campaign, look for the outliers. What's performing really well and what's not performing well, okay? So going back to that example with Liz and the business coach, when we had tested those 3 different video ads, remember we had found a winner? The winner was getting like a $250 cost per application. Well, we eventually got that where it's getting a $167 cost per application. And once we found that winning that winning video, we're gonna go all in on that. So this was just a simple VSL test. VSL meaning like it's just black text on a white background. There's really nothing fancy about it. But the point is, we want to test it and see if it's gonna work, right? We test the video, we test the offer, we test the audience, and we wanna see if this is gonna get close to our goals. And sure enough, it did. Our goal was to get a $300 application, and this test got a $167 cost per application. So once we had that winning video, we don't stop there. We want to go bigger. We want to make a really cool video that levels up the brand. And that's what we did. In fact, when we relaunched this video using the same script, but like higher creative production process, this is what happened. Her cost per application went from $167 down to $40. And her click-through rate was at 0.8, and it went to almost 1.3. So more people were clicking her ads, more people were opting in at a lower cost. In fact, that month that we launched her new campaign, she got a 10x return on ad spend. We launched that new video. She was getting 300 people applying to work with her for her program. And she enrolled, I think, 10 or 12 of them. Her cost per application dropped by 400%, and she was getting a 10x return on ad spend. So $1 in, $10 out. It was really cool to see, but that goes to the power of having the right offer and a really good video that will grow your business. Okay, so let's walk through the math behind a profitable video ad campaign. So let's just say that you have a program that you sell for $5,000. What would happen if you were to spend $10,000 advertising a download where you eventually sell a program for $5,000? Well, here's what it looks like. At a CPM of $25, you get 400,000 impressions. A CPM is your cost per 1,000 impressions. Of those impressions, you get a view rate of 20%, so you get 80,000 views, meaning 20% of your impressions will turn into views, right? Cost per view of 13 cents. Now, of those views, let's say 1% of them turn into clicks. Well, now you get 4,000 clicks. It's a cost per click of $2.50. Of those clicks, 5% of them will turn into leads or applications. So you get 200 applications or a cost per lead, cost per app of $50. Of those applications, 30% of those people will book a call with you, and you'll get 60 booked calls. So it's a cost per booked call of $100.66. Of those booked calls, 50% will show up to the phone call. And then of the people that show up to the phone call, let's say you can close 1 in 4, so 25%, you get 8 customers, right? That's a cost per acquisition or cost per customer of $1,066. So in total revenue, you're getting $40,000. You spent $10,000 on ads, you can track $40,000 in sales. That's a 4x return or a 400% return on ad spend. $1 in, $4 out. So this is totally doable. Now results do vary, right? It depends on your market, depends on your video, depends on your business model and your sales funnel. But these numbers are very realistic to hit. It does take some work, but it is possible. So again, just this is another screenshot of one of the accounts that we have. You can see that we spent $17,000 on this ad campaign and brought in $112,000 in sales. That's a 656% return on ad spend. This was in the e-commerce health space. But once you get to this point where you're seeing that return on ad spend, like this is when it becomes really fun. To back out, I want to share with you this journey from a video viewer to a client. Now this is a 3-page funnel that you can use to get leads, to get booked calls, and to get sales, right? So on the far left side, you've got 3 different video ads. Those are all being run from a Google Ads account. From there, you're driving traffic to a landing page where you have your lead magnet, right? On that lead magnet, you're giving away this tool or this resource that's going to add value to their life in exchange for their name, phone number, email, whatever you want, right? Of those people that apply or download that, you're going to take them to a schedule call page, right? Where you deliver the lead magnet and you invite them to schedule a call with you, right? We like to aim for 30% of those people will book a call, right? So then they get on a call, you get on a Zoom, and you can enroll them into your program. Again, this funnel is really designed for anyone in the service-based business, coaching, consultants. So this is the whole journey from a video view to a high-end ticket sell. Some of the questions we could ask: how long does it take to create a YouTube ad campaign? And really, it varies on the skill level, the time and resources of the business owner. Now, our estimate, based off the average business owner, is it will take about 30 days to launch a YouTube ad campaign. Now, this is assuming they're working with somebody, because you have to write the ad, shoot the video, set the campaign, set the tracking, right? It can take, I think 30 days is a very quick way to get a YouTube ad campaign up. Another question we get asked is, how much does it cost to run a YouTube ad campaign? And really, it depends. There's a lot of variables, but just for some examples and some context, a copywriter to write your script, you're paying anywhere between $500 to $1,500. And then you have to create the video, right? You set up the shoot, you launch the video, you hire a videographer. That could be as low as $3,000, as high as $20,000. In fact, there are agencies that will charge $100,000 to do a video ad. So really, it totally depends. But this is on the lower end of the price. And then you have a video editor. They have to edit the video. That could be as low as $1,000, upwards of $5,000. And you have a developer to set up the tracking. That could be $500 on your website. You have a media buyer to set up campaigns. That could be $3,000. And then the media buyer to manage the campaigns, that could be like, usually they charge a percentage of ad spend or a monthly retainer, but that could be $3,000 to $5,000 a month. And then you have your ad spend on top of that, right? $1,000 to $10,000. So total, you're looking at minimum $12,000 and upwards of $45,000. So you just watched one small section on how to optimize your campaign, but we've got 3 other sections that break down how to create the right video, how to target your right audience, and which ad you should be using when it comes to YouTube. So if you want to watch the full training, click the link in the description below, and you can learn how to grow your business to 7 and 8 figures with YouTube ads.